Hi, everybody. Well, as Sonia said, I'm Heather and I'm data manager in the data management department in CRF. And today I'm going to talk about EDC, electronic data capture, and Alcoa, which I know Aidan has kind of tipped on there earlier, but I'll go into a little bit more detail on it. So, EDC is electronic data capture. Is a software product that is utilised by research organisations to perform research and studies in a regulatory environment. There are many EDC products available. Each product is used to record and manage the research data that is generated for the purposes of clinical research study. Typical EDC products have standard data forms that can be used for any study workflow, rules to help with data entry, logic checks to verify the quality of the data, and reporting metrics for progress. And in general, EDC systems are used to record specific data about individual subjects. Example, patients that participate in research studies. For example, if a biopharmaceutical company organization is testing their new diabetes drug in 200 subjects at 10 medical centres, each medical centre will use the EDC to enter the research data about their participating subjects. Clinical trial data may be captured electronically at its source, called eSource, or in a paper form, and later transcribed into the EDC system. What data typically goes into an EDC? In general, data that is entered into an EDC includes a combination of personal health information, as well as general information about each study participating in the research study. When a subject signs informed consent to participate in a study, the details of the study are provided. Most studies will collect some background information about each participant. For example, the person's age, the recent blood work, whether they have ongoing medical condition, any details about the research study disease, example severity of their diabetes condition, what medications they are taking, etc. Also, study-specific information, also known as research data, will also be collected and recorded during the study. For example, each time the subject comes to the clinic for a site visit, they may be asked to complete a survey about how they are feeling, provide details about the time they take their medication each day, and have a brief physical exam. These items are research data because the patient would not normally be reporting this detail in to their doctor for routine diabetes care. Additional information may be collected in other systems such as laboratories and imaging facilities. For example, cancer studies may require repeat CT scans and blood work. Some EDC systems can connect with these additional systems. In general, subject data entered into an EDC system does not contain information to identify subjects, for example, person's full name, address, contact details. Why use electronic data capture software? Today, the majority of new clinical trials use electronic data software. Some of the common motivations for using EDC include cleaner data, more efficient processes, faster access to data. So for cleaning data, EDC software is particularly good and enforcing certain aspects of the data quality. Edit checks and source data verification programmed into the software can make sure data meets certain requirement formats, ranges, etc. before the data is accepted into the trial database. For more efficient processes, EDC software can help guide through the series of study events, requesting only the data needed for the particular patient circumstances at a particular time. It facilitates the processes of clarifying data discrepancies with tools for identifying and resolving data issues with sites, and can help reduce the number of in-person site visits required during a trial. Faster access to data. So web-based EDC systems can provide near access to data in clinical trial. This insight enables faster decision-making and can support adaptive trial designs. Each of the above reasons for using EDC addresses issues of efficiency and productivity, and can therefore also reduce the cost of clinical trials. EDC and ECRF. So we'll ask, what is the difference between EDC and ECRF? There is a difference between both. Electronic data capture, EDC, is a software used for collecting clinical trial data, sorry. An electronic case report form, or ECRF, is a digital, usually web-based questionnaire for collecting data about a study participant. So ECRFs live inside the EDC, enable clinical data managers and other clinical research stakeholders to collect better data faster. Then CDMS versus CTMS. What is the difference between these? CDMS and CTMS are different. So the CDMS is a clinical data management system. It's a solution used by pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies for clinical data management during a clinical trial. An EDC, or electronic data capture system, is similar to CDMS because both are used to collect, store, and analyze data. A CTMS, or clinical trial management system, is used for operational efficiency during a clinical trial. For example, storing clinical trial project management documents, tracking deadlines and milestones, and centralizing billing processes. Just a slide here for on clinical data management, and I've set it out into 3 different areas. So study startup, then study maintenance, then study closeout. So on the study startup, it's protocol analysis, case report form design and creation, clinical database design and development, then the data management plan, data management file, and associate documentation. And then it moves on into the study maintenance phase. So it's patient registration, patient collection, which is entry in QC, data cleaning, issuing missing pages, visits and reports, and data queries for sites, and then external reconciliations, adhere to the ISDS, DSMB, and patient reporting deadlines, and perform other required duties with data, for example, meta coding, etc. And then it goes into the study closeout. So 100% QC checks are done on critical data, final query generation and resolution, final reconciliations, which would include SAE reconciliation or maybe laboratory reconciliation, depending on your study, final inspection within an acceptable error rate, and then it goes to database lock, and then the data is exported, and then the final CSR, and then the data is archived. So trends in EDC. In the 1990s, electronic data capture was referred to as remote data capture. Today, the integration of EDC software with other types of software in e-clinical spectrum, randomization, adverse event reporting, submissions, etc. system is an increasing visible and beneficial. The ability to quickly and reliably import electronic data from other sources such as lab reports, imaging data sources, and electronic health records is also becoming commonplace. The rise of open source EDC software and independent standards for characterizing and sharing data like CDISC are key enablers towards accelerating the productivity and decreasing the cost and burden associated with clinical trials. Data integrity. Data integrity, as defined by WHO, is the degree to which data are complete, consistent, accurate, trustworthy, and reliable. It is important to be diligent in entering your data on the EDC and ensuring its accuracy, particularly with regard to reporting details around adverse events, and also to take care in transcribing the data from the source of the EDC. This is really important. The data in GXP environment should be collected and maintained in a secure manner so that they are attributable, legible, contemporaneously recorded, original, and accurate. In the modern era of clinical trials, data integrity and compliance are a vital part of regulatory reviews. Regulatory agencies such as the FDA and the EMA are also always checking for any potential data integrity issues in a regulatory submission. Such issues can compromise the safety and efficacy of a new drug or device and can be a result of a number of human errors, technical issues, or malicious acts. I'm going to move on to alcohol now, which I know Aidan touched on there earlier, but I'll go into a little bit more detail. So alcohol is a set of principles established by the FDA to ensure data integrity and good documentation practices in the pharmaceutical industry. Developed in the 1990s by Stan Wurm, these principles apply to both paper and electronic data. The alcohol principles help avoid data integrity and compliance issues and provide an audit trail that records additions, deletions, and alterations without obscuring the original records. This audit trail enables the reconstruction of details related to the original electronic data record. So ALCOA stands for attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, and accurate. In 2010, the principles involved to include complete, consistent, enduring, and available forming ALCOA Plus. These additional principles are particularly relevant to clinical data management electronic systems. By following the ALCOA Plus principles, organizations can prevent common data integrity breaches, such as international deletion or malnotation of records, accidental data loss, uncontrolled documentation of or failure to record data in real time. Using electronic data recording systems that restrict access to authorized and authentic individuals further ensures data completeness, consistency, and security, while also preventing unauthorized disclosure of protected health information. All data entries and changes are logged, timestamped, and easily accessible to authorized users at any time and from any location. So the original output, so the attributable, this refers to how any data that is entered should be easily traced, referred back to the individual who performed the data collection and the date and time that this is performed. A good example of this attribute would be clear password and user control settings that ensures everyone has unique credentials and any electronic systems being utilized as a fully validated audit trail. Legible, this attribute ensures that the data in question can easily be read and there is no misunderstanding of the data. Additionally, this can also refer to durability of the data. So if a person wishes to view that data in 15 years' time, it will still be legible. And then contemporaneous, this indicates that, this dictates that the time of data should correspond to the data of the recording of the data. This is where the audit trails and metadata for electronic systems are essential to ensure time and date stamps on the data. To ensure compliance, you must ensure that the data time zones and system checks are recorded to remove ambiguity. For example, if 2300 time Eastern Standard Time would be 4 GMT the following day, which would cause issues when comparing the data and time of collection. Original records should be original as opposed to transcriptions or copies of the originals. All analysis, calculations, summaries, or reports based on data provided must be traceable back to the original source. This is why any electronic system being utilised must be fully validated with an audit trail. All copies of original documentation must be formally verified as a true copy and must be distinguishable to the original. Also, having a copy does not mean that the original document can be discarded. The original must be preserved. Accurate records should be deemed as error-free and represent the true nature of what has occurred. There should be no amending, modification of the original information that could result in data being discarded or lost. If an amendment or modification is required, these changes must be documented clearly and concisely, so tracing back to the original entry is possible. When using an electronic system, the technology in question should have built-in accuracy and discrepancy checks to assist with the entry. Additional devices being used to capture information must be collaborated. The additional Alpha Plus principles in audit are complete. This refers to all data being present. Nothing should ever be truly removed or deleted. There should always be a record of the data, and the audit trail is essential to show all data changes and the time of the change. Consistent. Data should be arranged chronologically with clear time and date stamps for any additions to the original record. Enduring, so similar to legible, this principle of Alpha Plus is especially aimed at the durability of the data. For example, data should be stored in a format that preserves its integrity, quality, and readability, so it can still be viewed in the future regardless of the time or determined by regulatory requirements. While dealing with electronic data, you must ensure that the readability of the data hardware used is still relevant, and that any system being used has backups and full disaster recovery policy in place. And available data should be accessible whenever needed over the life cycle of the study. All storage facilities utilised must be accessible and searchable with applicable indexing and labelling of the records.